Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal does not believe Luka Doncic, 26, is a better player than LeBron James, 40, entering the 2025-26 season, despite the 14-year age gap between the Los Angeles Lakers teammates. Shaq took it a step further by suggesting that even Giannis Antetokounmpo, 30, is not currently a better player than James. The four-time NBA champion made the bold claim while participating in an interactive session with Overtime, wherein he was asked to break a stick every time he heard the name of a player better than James. The list also included Charlotte Hornets guard LaMelo Ball, Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton, New York Knicks big man Karl-Anthony Towns, San Antonio Spurs phenom Victor Wembanyama, Houston Rockets forward Kevin Durant, Orlando Magic forward Paolo Banchero, New York Knicks All-Star Jalen Brunson, and Boston Celtics star Jason Tatum. Ranks SGA higher than LeBron. When the interviewer spelled out the name of Giannis, Shaq nearly broke the stick, but held back on doing so. "Who's next?" Shaq asked, prompting the interviewer to ask about Oklahoma City Thunder superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shaq would instantly snap the stick in half while nodding his head. "He's the MVP," Shaq said when asked why he broke the stick. "He had a great year. I don't know about the greatest ever season, but he had a great year." To O'Neal's point, SGA became only the fourth player in NBA history to win the scoring title, MVP and Finals MVP in the same season, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, X3, and himself. Lakers fans unhappy. The former four-time champion's decision not to rank Doncic higher than James angered many Lakers fans on social media. "Luka is better than Bron RN LMFAO BFR," wrote one fan. "Did Shaq even watch Lakers games last year?" asked one fan. While most fans disagreed with Shaq, one user backed his decision. "Until LeBron retires, no one is better than him," he wrote. Last season, James averaged 24.4 points, 8.2 assists, and 7.8 rebounds at 51/38/78 shooting splits. The consistent showing earned him a spot in the All-NBA second team, making him the oldest player to earn the accolade. The honor also essentially established James as a top 10 player at the age of 40, unprecedented in NBA history. Meanwhile, Doncic led all Lakers in scoring, 28.2 points, and rebounds, 8.1, and was second in assists, 7.5, at 43/38/79 shooting splits. While his and James' numbers were nearly identical, the latter was significantly better defensively. As such, Shaq may not be completely off the mark to list James ahead of Doncic entering the new NBA season. While most fans disagreed with Shaq, one user backed his decision. Doncic put up better counting stats than James in the playoffs, averaging 30.2 points, 7.0 rebounds, and 5.8 assists, but the latter shot the ball more efficiently. However, the Slovenian guard was once again a defensive liability, much like he was in the regular season, which soured many analysts about Doncic's desire to win an NBA title. If James does prove to be better than Doncic in the 2025-26 season, it would bode well for the Lakers' chances to hang banner number 18. The Los Angeles Lakers entered the offseason with a long list of priorities. They tried to check as many boxes off as they could as ownership shifted from Jeanie Buss to Mark Walter, the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. However, Los Angeles kept both of their stars in Luka Doncic and LeBron James. However, Doncic is subtly letting the Lakers know how he wants things. Doncic signed a 3-year, $165 million contract to stay in Los Angeles for the foreseeable future. Getting him under contract was the team's main goal this offseason. However, bringing in upgrades around their two stars was also important. Luckily for the Lakers, the front office was able to do both, setting Los Angeles up as a scary team next season. While Doncic pleased the Lakers with his extension, he is sending a message to the franchise. As the player receiving the torch from James, the guard is in a position of great power when it comes to how the team is managed. ESPN insider Tim McMahon pointed out as much when talking about how often Doncic mentions the team's owners. Everything you hear coming from Luka Doncic, like the statements he's put out from his people when he talks about the future of the Lakers, Mark Walter's name is always mentioned in there very strategically. Jeanie Buss and Mark Walter, McMahon said. Both Walter and Bus still carry a lot of power when it comes to the Lakers. However, stars like Doncic and James have become more influential than ever. Both have their sights set on contending in the Western Conference next season. In order to do that, Doncic could decide to exercise some leverage against the front office and ownership. The Lakers have already brought in DeAndre Ayton and other players to improve the roster. Despite those moves, Doncic's stance remains clear. He is happy to be with the Lakers, but the team's owners have to work hard to keep him that way. The Philadelphia 76ers have been engaged in contract negotiations with restricted free agent Quentin Grimes this offseason, who is coming off a career-best year. Grimes showcased intriguing potential after being traded to the injury-riddled Sixers from the Dallas Mavericks in February, averaging 21.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists and 1.5 steals while shooting 37.3% from three-point range in 33.6 minutes per game over 28 regular season appearances for Philadelphia. Although the sample size is small, Grimes' strong stint with the 76ers has made him a candidate to receive a lucrative deal in restricted free agency. However, it remains to be seen whether he'll be part of the team's long-term plans alongside Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe. The 76ers could move on from Grimes. Nicholas Kyle Pring of the Sixer Sense believes Grimes and the 76ers will eventually reach an agreement on a new deal, though that could also position him as a trade candidate later on. For now, him staying with the 76ers is inevitable, although that partnership will most likely end up being a short one, he wrote. And if that is indeed the case, the 76ers could look to move him to another team, potentially for someone like, say, Austin Reeves. Reeves is expected to decline his $14.9 million player option for the 2026-27 campaign and seek a more substantial deal, whether with the Los Angeles Lakers or elsewhere. The team will likely engage in extension talks with the rising star this summer, but if no deal is reached, Reeves could depart in free agency. If Los Angeles feels it cannot retain the 6'5" shooting guard, he'll likely become a trade candidate, so the club doesn't risk losing him for nothing. A trade involving Grimes would certainly be intriguing, as the 76ers would add a rising star and perimeter threat in Reeves, even if he ends up being a short-term rental. For the Lakers, Grimes would offer a replacement for Reeves in the short term and could stick around alongside Luka Doncic. He's also projected to be a more cost-effective option than Reeves. While the Lakers will likely prioritize keeping Reeves long-term, he could become a viable trade candidate if extension talks stall and he approaches the open market.